Hey Luke, this is John Mueller here, just doing the comparison of my fast lap or the baseline lap that I did for you versus your fastest lap from our work together. Um, if you can see, I've got the data actually up. This is a application that I use that shows us the visual data. I've also combine both of the videos in a view to show you what's actually happening in the videos. So hopefully this will give you kind of a holistic comparison of the difference between my 130 lap time and your 132 lap time. I want to say, like to be clear, a 132 is a pretty fast lap at Harris Hill. Typically anything under 130 is considered very good in most cars. In that GR86 that we were driving, anything under 130 is a solid lap time. So for your first time out there, first time in that car. Really good performance. So I just want to call that out. And basically, what I'm hoping to do here is to help you get closer to that 130 the next time that we're out there, just to show you kind of what I did differently in order to run a faster lap than you and to get faster. So if you haven't seen this before, if you haven't seen data presented this way before, we've got a few different fields here. I've got the RPM up top, and I'm actually going to pull that data. There's not really a heck of a lot of value in the RPM, given that we were in an automatic. The big thing that I want to focus on is our pedal position sensor. So this is actually what your foot is doing on the accelerator. And then we've got our speed. Obviously, any variation in speed, any difference in speed is going to be where the time is made up. And finally, below here, we actually have the time comparison. So this is the effectively how much time I'm gaining on you over the course of this sector. I've also broken the course down into four sectors for us. So the first sector is going to be turn one, two, and turn three, and then we'll have three more sectors that break down the other corners of the course. But again, I've got the video here in the upper right, but I've got a better comparison for it that I'll append to the end of this, and we'll just let it play. What I want to call out is just starting out on our way into turn one. You can see I'm coming in with about 4 miles an hour more than you have, and that's a really significant gap. I do that with my exit from turn 10 and then carrying speed through turn 11. And then also, I did notice that I just braked a little bit later than you and a little bit lighter than you. And you can actually see that all the way through here as I consistently carry more speed right down to that apex. And we're going to see that hit right here. And what I want to show you here is we had talked about for most of the day the value of the late apex. Turn one, because it's a higher speed corner, we can take it more as a mid apex turn rather than a true late apex turn. Typically, a late apex, we take that when we can get a lot of drive and get a lot of acceleration out of a turn. But similar to turn six out there, turn one, we can actually turn in relatively, it's again, I want to be careful saying this, but slightly earlier to create a more midpoint apex rather than getting further around. So that's the difference in line here between you and I. The big thing that I do here, and it's not shown very well, but you can see it relatively clearly in the video, is after that apex, I let that car track out a little bit wider. And effectively, I'm letting that car run, letting it have a little bit more freedom so that I can continue to carry the speed and accrue some speed here. If you see, both of us give a little bit of a throttle input here. Mine is actually a little bit later than you, but that's because I've carried a fair amount more, 3 miles an hour more speed than you into turn one. And I still have that 3 mile an hour advantage right here. And then you can see me start to apply that throttle, and I apply it with a little bit more force than you do. Getting up to, this isn't quite full throttle. I'm not sure why the reading is coming out like this, but max throttle for some reason in this car is registering at around 59 or 60%. So that's just something going on with the sensor itself. It's just something to note. So when we're at full throttle, the reading is 100%. Not a big deal. But coming into here, what we see is what's interesting is you're carrying that throttle a little bit longer than I am, whereas I've got a slightly harder push as I get onto that slight straightaway from turn one to turn two. And again, I'm carrying a pretty good gap here in speed between you. That speed starts to close as we come down and get close to the apex, well, the turn in and then the apex of turn two. I come in a little bit more shallow than you, and we'll see that. And what I mean by that is I kind of bring the car in, and we can see that happening here. Just for clarity on the green line. So it's a little bit softer corner coming into here, and there's also bear in mind there's a little bit of GPS skew here too. So we aren't actually obviously running into dirt here, but just to kind of show it, we're both getting very close to the apex here. But again, I think I was calling this out to you in the car quite a bit. I'm letting the car, as I come down to that first apex, I'm letting that car run a little wide and using the compression that occurs within this area right here in the pavement, where the pavement starts to bottom out and then starts coming back up. I use that to get the turning done on the car rather than trying to hold the car in artificially. That's something that we really need to work on with you, is just letting that car run a little bit more, and that allows that car to carry a little bit more speed. And so I run slightly longer than you do here, and granted, it's a minor difference. It's a minor difference in time. You can see that right here. It's not like a significant improvement in time I gain from, let's say, basically at the apex of turn two until the what I'll call the second apex over around the corner here. It's not even a tenth of a second that I gain, but where it starts to accumulate is I'm able to carry good speed and carry a slight mile per hour advantage over you the whole way through here. If you keep an eye out, like I've got a 1 mile an hour advantage over you, and that's going to continue the full way along that straightaway. So that's where I'm making that time. So in that one sector alone, I've gained about a half second on you. So just something to bear in mind, right? Like I am I am definitely changing my line to a certain extent here, using a different line and just letting that car run out a little bit into that transition between what we'll call turn two and turn three. And that's allowing me to carry a little bit more speed. But obviously there's a much bigger area under the curve here that's happening on that turn into turn one. But again, that boils down to the same thing, letting that car out to the right side in to whatever extent it feels like it needs it. That just gives that car, again, remember that steering wheel, that's your second brake pedal. By opening that steering wheel a little bit, it will actually see, we can actually see it in the video comparison here. We can see just kind of how much more steering angle you're on the top there. We can just see you're carrying just a little bit more steering angle at the beginning there. It's slight, but it's carrying it for quite a while. And then you can see here's me indicating that I'm letting that car back out. Now it's funny, but because you had the later turn, you did a later turn in that was more aggressive, you've got the wheel a little bit straighter here. Whereas I'm just letting that car naturally arc over because I haven't already moved the car over the left side to set up for turn two. What I'm getting at is this is just letting that car carry a natural arc versus kind of forcing it to the left-hand side a little bit too early in that corner. And again, that's what's making the difference and allowing me to carry all the speed. Just for clarity, I'm the green lines in this, and so that's why there's that additional area under the curve. It's literally just I'm letting that car run out a little further. I also make sure to get down to that apex at turn one, which we're going to see right here. So that's really the big thing, just gaining that confidence and figuring out that line. One other thing you can see here is The other thing that it allows me to do by carrying that slightly wider line is it allows me to go to the throttle more aggressively here and a little bit earlier than you do. So just bear in mind, the line is very critical. It's very important. So, all right, that's it for the sector one.